In 2019, there was a congressional hearing on the Kashmir issue, and one of the main representatives of US leading that was Ilhan Omar. There was an Indian journalist who decided to put forth India's view, and she was also from Kashmir. She's from the Kashmiri Hindu minority community who's been persecuted by the jihadists and have faced ethnic cleansing. But when Aarti Tikoo decided to join in that hearing, she was censored, mocked, and not allowed to give her view by Ilhan Omar. Aarti Tikoo joins me now for the latest on that. Also Geeta Mohan, our foreign affairs editor. Aarti, first to you, what is your first thought? Because I remember when you were speaking at that point, there was these constant sarcastic smiles by Ilhan Omar. You were not being allowed to give your views properly, and you literally had to battle your way into giving your perspective too. It was clear that her bias was out in the open. What is your first thought today, Aarti?
Well, Pooja, I stand vindicated today. Finally, the truth has prevailed, and I'm really glad that Republicans have shown her the boot from the US Foreign Affairs Committee. Ilhan Omar is fundamentally a bigot, an Islamist, and a jihadist who stands by Pakistan's cross-border terrorism, who stands by Al-Qaeda, who justifies and apologizes for all Islamic radical groups. And unfortunately, she had the platform of US Foreign Affairs Committee for 5 years because of Democrats, because Democrats keep appeasing Islamists and jihadists. There is a nexus between the left and Islamists in the US and in fact in most of the democracies in the world. And finally, Republicans have done the course correction. They have shown her the door. They have in fact ensured that she was disgracefully exited from this Foreign Affairs Committee. So I'm really glad that
Can you tell our viewers a reminder for them, Aarti, what exactly had happened in 2019? Because this was supposed to be a fair hearing of different perspectives, sure, but on terrorism, which has afflicted all people in Kashmir, in Pakistan, and across India, of course. What exactly happened in that hearing?
Well, honestly, in 2019, before I went for that US congressional hearing, I used to think that US democracy is the epitome of institutions, it's the epitome of fact-finding, truth-finding, but unfortunately that the US House at the time was controlled by Democrats, and they showed their worst behavior. They showed how they can actually conspire and set up an entire platform against India, against Hindus, against progressive Muslims. Ilhan Omar represented all that, represented all the bigotry for Jews, for Hindus, for progressive Muslims, and she showcased that bigotry in that US congressional hearing, because I was standing up for Kashmiri Muslims and Hindus who have been persecuted by Pakistan-sponsored Islamists and terrorists. I spoke truth to power. It was, in fact, for the first time that an Indian had gone to the US Congress and spoken out very fiercely and fearlessly against Pakistan's cross-border terrorism and the kind of persecution that has happened in Kashmir and faced by both communities. Now this Ilhan Omar, who was paid by Qatar and Turkey and CARE, which is a fundamentalist organization in the United States, she came with a script, and that script was targeted at me and me alone.